So tmux, what you need to know for OSCP. And I will say this will help you even if you are just trying to be more efficient at the job, or you just want to learn more about offensive security. This is a really, really handy tool to use. It's not required, but wow, it is. You'll see just how powerful this thing is. So yeah, if you are interested in that, definitely stay tuned. This could really help you on OSCP and save you tons and tons of time and headache as well. Hey guys, what's up? This is Ryan from elevatecyber. Now, before I jump into tmux, let me explain the use case, right? You may have been working on a CTF before and you just have a bunch of different terminal windows open because you have a lot of things going on, right? You're probably running an nmap scan, maybe you're doing a dirbuster scan and looking for the subdirectories on the system. Maybe you're fuzzing some SQL injection or doing some kind of brute force attack as well. And you're also poking around the system with your initial shell. And you have exploit DB open, searchsploit, looking for exploits. And you're just going to need tons of windows to manage this. And if you're doing it what we call the traditional way without using a tool like tmux, you're just going to have to keep opening multiple instances of your terminal. And you're going to look up here and it's going to be like, okay, was this second one, was that my GoBuster scan, or was that my searchsploit? Which one was my Metasploit session? And MSF Venom is this one. It just gets really out of hand, really difficult to manage, and you just have tons and tons of tabs on the top, right? So it's just a really messy way. And then you might have something like this going on as well, right? And it's just a headache. Once I show you this way, you're never going to want to go back. And if you do know tmux a little bit already, there's a lot of handy shortcuts and things that I'm going to be showing you in this video. And I just wish that I had a video. I really wish that I had a video like this when I was first starting out. It took me a long time to figure this stuff out and to work through how to do different things on it. It was a very gradual learning process for me. So I'm going to give you guys all in one video, all the stuff that I wish I knew before. Now, by no means will this be a fully comprehensive, this is everything tmux can do, because to be honest, there's so much that it can do. But this will give you like I said, what you need to know portion of it. So first of all, let's say we want to start out by spawning your tmux session. Let's give ourselves an example here. Let's say we're working on a hack the box machine, right? So let's see what we got here. Let's say that we're working on Bastion, right? So let's go in there. We would go into the directory first. This is the easiest way to do it. You could always change this after the fact, but this is the easiest way to do it. CD into the directory that you want to spawn tmux in first, okay? Then you type tmux to spawn it in. Now the use case to a tool like this, and there's other alternatives, right? There's Terminator, and I'm pretty sure there's some more as well, but this is what I prefer. This is probably the most popular one, so that's why I'm covering this one in the video as opposed to some of these other tools that do the same thing. But the beauty of this is if I need to have multiple tabs, I could just have multiple tabs down here, and I can name them whatever I want to name them, right? So that is the beauty, right? So I could call this GoBuster down here. I could call this nmap, and they could all be, in correspondence to whatever's going on. Now, how am I doing this, right? How am I renaming these windows down here? So the way you do that, right, and the way you do anything in tmux is you have to know what the special key is for your tmux. So by default, it is Control plus B. So Control and the B key. Now, that basically tells your computer that, hey, I'm about to pass a command to tmux, right? And your tmux keys, your tmux commands are just a key, whatever key follows that, right? So Control plus B, Control and B, and then the comma means rename the window, right? So Control B, comma, rename the window, and then you type whatever you want to name it. So maybe this is searchsploit down here, for example. And now we have these 3 down here. Let's say, whatever the asterisk is, that's the current window we're on. So we're on the search exploit window. And you might notice here that they're all numbered. There's 0, 1, and 2, right? Let's say I wanted to go to the nmap window. Control B and then the number 1. Now I'm in the nmap window. 2, I'll go to GoBuster, and so on, right? Now, let's get something going in the background here. We'll Control plus C, that will open up, Control B, right? Your special key. From now on, I'm going to call Control B the special key because that's what it is, right? So special key plus the letter C, that will spawn a new window here, right? And let's say that we're doing some privilege escalation, right? We want to run linps to see if there's any Linux privesc we can identify on the system. First thing, Control B, the special key, and the comma to name our window. We'll call it linps. And let's just say, let's switch to the Kali user so we're not doing this as root. Oops. SU Kali. If we go to op privesc, and we'll go to launch linps here, right? So that's going to take some time to run, but it's going to be a good example to show some of the commands that I want to show you here in a second, right? And so what else is important to know, right? I showed you how to create new windows, right? The special key plus C, but you might have also seen me do many times where I would split the windows. I'd have multiple terminals all on this one screen here. So in order to do that, there's 2 ways you can do it. You can spawn a new terminal like by splitting the panes horizontally, or you could split them vertically. Now, if you want to split vertically, you do special key and %, right? And similarly, if you want to split it horizontally, you do special key and then double quote. Now, I know these are very odd keys I'm talking about here. They're pretty random. There's a lot of control key stuff going on and shift key and all this stuff, right? Take notes of this now. Write it down in your own notes. And I will check the description below, and I'll provide a full listing of all the commands that I'm talking about right there as a handy reference for you guys. Save that to your computer somewhere in your notes, and always just reference this when you're using it and first learning it, and eventually certain commands are just going to be so useful. You're going to need to use them so much that eventually they're going to become muscle memory, and you're not going to have to look at your notes every time. That's my suggestion for learning this stuff. But now I have these 3 panes here, right? I can actually cycle between which one is my active pane. As you see right now, I'm in this one on the bottom right. If I wanted to go up to this one, I could do special key up arrow because it's above me, right? And similarly, if I want to go over to this one right here, Control B left arrow, right? For good measure, we'll create another vertical pane by doing special key double quote. So now I have four things going on here, right? Let's say that I have a lot of text on the screen, right? Let's go to, Etsy password. So I have a ton of text on the screen, and it's kind of annoying because this is really small, and I can't actually see all the text on here, right? So what I could do actually is I could detach this pane here and open it in its own window. So the way I would do that is special key plus exclamation point. And now this is in its own window. Now maybe I still can't see the top and I want to scroll up. Normally in a regular terminal, you just use the scroll wheel, but as you see, that's actually cycling through my commands. It's not scrolling the actual terminal text. So it's a little bit different the way you do this in tmux. You actually do it with the special key and then page up. So now, as you see, that puts me into this different mode here called, this is called copy mode. Okay, I'm in copy mode right now. So Control B and page up put me here. And what I can do now is I can use the arrow keys to scroll, or if I want to scroll a bit faster, I can use page up and page down. So I don't have too much text here, so it's not the best demonstration. If I go over to my LinPs, right, I'll show you, right? Control B plus page up. Holding in page up moves me that fast. You see the number here? This is all numbered. Versus if I just do up arrow, right? So if you really want to move fast, you can use the up arrow down, or sorry, not up arrow, but page up, page down. And to get more granular here, you can use the arrow keys. And so, yeah, we'll be talking a bit more about copy mode here in a bit because there's so much that you can do with this, really. Now, another common scenario that you're going to encounter with tmux is that, oh yeah, by the way, to exit that mode, that copy mode, right? Like, see, I'm in here. What if I want to go back to how it was? You just press Q. That's all. And this is still running. That's why my screen's still moving. But that's the basic idea there. So just to show it here, if I was in this mode, I want to go back to the regular view, right? Just press Q, and now I'm back to how it was before. But yeah, a very common scenario that you're going to encounter is that you're going to be... Sometimes maybe you're running a tool or something and it hangs on you, and normally you just do a Control C to try to kill whatever it is that's hanging, but you might occasionally come across situations where it's being unresponsive and you can't even kill it with Control C, and you're like, oh, this sucks, I don't want to have to launch a whole new tmux, I had like all this stuff going on. Well, you can simply kill the pane, right? So let's say we want to kill this pane specifically. Maybe something's hanging or something like that, right? Well, all we need to do is special key and then X. And it's going to say, do you want to kill this pane? Type Y for yes. And now it killed it. So now we're good to go and we can proceed as we were before. All right? So that is like the really meat and potatoes of what you need to know. But now I'm going to be covering some stuff that is a little bit extra, but definitely very, very handy. So let's go back to this LinP stuff here. And I'm not going to wait for this whole thing to complete. I'm just going to kill it here. We have enough data here that I can demo this properly. Now, this is a very, very common scenario. That's why I chose to run LinPs here, because many times you'll have your tmux session and you'll be doing some privilege escalation, maybe Windows, maybe Linux, but you have so much data here from your LinPs, and yeah, you could just scroll through and read every little bit of it, but maybe you wanna kind of search for certain things in particular. And maybe there's some really interesting things you might want to copy so that you can save it to your notes and things like that. Well, that's what I'm going to have to cover here in a second. Now, basically what we did, we got in copy mode. I did the special key plus page up to do that. The other way to get into copy mode is special key plus bracket. Now, which bracket? The left bracket. So... check the description if you're not sure which key I'm referring to here. The left square bracket, though. The way you know you're in copy mode is you'll see this yellow text block over here with the numbers on it. Okay? Now, say we have run our LinPs and it completed, and maybe we want to look for passwords, right? So what we can do is we could search, but with tmux, you got to tell it, do you want to search for the text above where you're currently located or below where you're currently located? In this case, we're at the very bottom, right? And all of the text is above us. So we want to do what's called a search up. So one thing I got to actually call out before I go any further here is I'm actually not running the default bindings when it comes to this functionality. Now, by default, tmux runs what are called the Emacs key bindings. I'm actually running the VI key bindings. So for me, if I want to search up, I need to go into copy mode as I have here, and then hold down shift and press, what is this? /, not backslash, but /, okay? And that's going to say search up. Now I type my term that I want to search for. Let's say password maybe. I hit enter, and now it's going to highlight. It's going to say, hey, there's this many results or whatever. And if I want to just keep, first of all, I'm on the first finding here. You can tell by how this is underlined like this. Now, if I want to look for the next finding, if I want to look for the, I guess, previous finding in this case, since we're searching up, Shift and N. That's actually the very first finding, right? But I hit N, I can cycle through. So N is going to take me up in this case, right? And then Shift N is going to take me in the reverse. So N or Shift N. And that will get me all my results, right? And of course, when I'm done, just hit Q for quit. Now, if you are running the Emacs bindings, the default bindings, to search up, instead of doing the /, you're going to instead type Control R, okay? And similarly, like, say I'm up here somewhere. Say I'm like, I don't know, I'm up here, right? I want to do the same thing. I can actually do a search down, right? I want to look for maybe anything below what I just looked at. Then I would actually do Shift and /. Or sorry, just a regular / in that case, right? Oops. Regular / is search down. Password. Boom. So I think I got that mixed up a second ago, but you'll figure out if you're running my key bindings. If you want to search up, it is /. If you want to search down, wait, did I say that wrong? It's easier when I'm doing it versus explaining it, but yeah. Shift / is a search up, and just regular / is search down. Now, going back to what I was saying, if you're running the default Emacs bindings, instead of that, it will be Control R to search. Okay, I can't remember if it's search down or search up. One is Control R, one is Control S. Okay, I believe that search up is Control R and search down is Control S, but don't quote me on that. But you type it, you'll figure out which is which. But those are going to be your bindings instead. Now, how did I get into the VI key bindings? Well, I'll show you that real quick here, right? So if I go into my home directory of my root account, because I'm running this, that's where what I ran it as, my root account. If I look at all my files, even my hidden ones, you'll see a .tmux.conf file. This is your tmux configuration file, this one right here. This is something that I created manually. So when you first install tmux, and if you're using Kali, it'll already be installed, but you won't have a tmux conf file. You have to create it manually. And then inside of it, you got to add this line here, this line of code, set window option -G mode -keys VI, and they'll put you in the VI key bindings. So like it says here, the default is Emac. So it's just a personal preference, really. It doesn't matter which you use. You can use either. It's all preference there. But the other thing that I want to cover is something that is very handy, and I didn't learn this until long after I picked up tmux, and I wish I would have known it sooner for sure, is you can actually copy stuff and paste stuff using like your actual tmux buffer. So let's say that we're going through, again, the situation of we're going through our data here, our output from our tool, right? And maybe there's certain things it really stood out to us. We want to save it into our notes so we can access that later, right? Well, the easy way to do that is you got to highlight your text. Let's say, hey, these set GID files were pretty interesting. I want to go back and look at them later. I want to save them to my notes. Well, what I can do, and this is, I'll tell you the VI bindings first and then the Emacs bindings second, right? The VI bindings to do this is I just hold in spacebar and I use the arrow keys to copy, or even I could use page down to copy even faster, right? Whatever it is, to highlight whatever it is I want to copy, okay? And now that it's highlighted, let's say I just want to copy this, I press enter. And that's actually going to take me out of copy mode, but it actually copied it to the buffer. So now if I open, let's say I want to create a notes file. What I can do is do a special key and then right bracket, and that will paste anything inside my tmux buffer. Okay? So that's all I did there. I did special key and right bracket to paste. Okay? So holding spacebar, arrow keys to highlight the text, enter to copy the highlighted text, and then special key plus right square bracket to paste. I know it's really weird, but honestly, yeah, if you do this stuff enough times, you'll remember how to do it. Now, if you are using the default Emacs bindings, the bindings are even weirder in my opinion for this. But what you need to do is, instead of spacebar and arrow keys to highlight the text, and this is part of the reason why I prefer the VI key bindings. I just feel like they're easier to use. There's less button pressing involved. But if you're doing it the Emacs way, instead of spacebar and arrow keys to highlight stuff, you have to do control spacebar and then the arrows to highlight the, whatever you want to highlight. And then you copy with, instead of pressing enter, it's alt key plus W. So really weird, but that's how you copy it with the default bindings. And then to paste it is the same, I do believe. I think it's special key plus right bracket. But yeah, hopefully this video was helpful for you guys. This is stuff that I definitely wish I knew back in the day. And I will say, one other thing I will say is, regardless of whether you're using the VI or Emacs key bindings, the N and Shift N for the next result of whatever you search for is still the same. But yeah, hopefully this video helped you guys. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the like button as well to help out some people that might be picking up tmux, or maybe they've used it for a while, like was the case for me, and they just didn't know about all these different things and how to do them. This is by no means a comprehensive guide. There's always more to learn, and if there's enough interest, maybe down the line I even make another video with some even more nifty things you can do with this amazing tool. But hopefully this is enough to get you started and improve your workflow. So I will see you guys right over there on the videos on screen if you are eager to get started and apply what you know to your next assessment. And I will see you guys over in those videos. Thanks for watching.